Out of the Dark is a debut full-length album from The Watcher, a Boston, Massachusetts-born heavy metal group, and one that I would describe as somewhere between traditional and epic heavy metal and traditional doom metal. I guess what I would say is there's certainly a taste for the new wave of British heavy metal and the anthemic side of that, but there's also something akin to earlier Trouble in the way that they produce heavier doom metal riffs and slow down a bit on their songs. And they'd introduce this sound by way of their Your Turn to Die 7-inch, which was self-released back in 2021, and they followed up on that with a much more refined overall product here on the full-length album. I would say if you're a fan of the Maryland style of traditional doom metal, and you still like the more upbeat and anthemic side of the new wave of British heavy metal, you'll find there's a lot to like about this band and the energy they bring into everything they do. What I would say is that this album goes a little bit heavier. It focuses a little bit more on some of those Sabbath-leaning riffs, but it balances out in a way that is still exciting. Consider like the first Quartz record or early Satan with some of the harmonies they bring in, and we get something that is both involved and sort of stomping in its heavy metal aggression, but then there's also a point of introspection or distance that they allow with those doom metal influenced movements. So we'll get a sense of that here with one of the singles, and then we'll cut into what I liked about this record.
Lighting the night will hellfire rain down from the sky as the world looks to pay. You must have a promise of future denied. There's nothing left, nothing but the cry.
So when I reviewed a Malleus record from one of the folks from that band, which has since disbanded, Max First, when he put together this record, it was pretty obvious that he had a knack for heavy metal and traditional heavy metal. But I think that this band and this album is sort of a test for those songwriting skills, and I think that's it's actually one of the best things about this record is that it feels like this is all being approached from a fresh point of view, and they've certainly picked the right vocalist to be able to merge these worlds and also find their own voice right away. And I think that's the remarkable thing about this as a debut is that it's very well formed. You can tell they paid a lot of attention to the details of these songs and making sure each one of them counts in terms of its composition and the way that it flows all the way together. I would say there's a couple of what I called wild strikes taken here in terms of songwriting styles, the way that these forms synergize and create something that is both introspective and energetic at the same time. It's kind of an interesting vibe overall. It's certainly been done before, but this feels a little bit on the more energetic side, which I appreciated. It doesn't ever really get boring for me. Some of the riffs are very simple, but they're always very effective in the way that they hit, and there's always another idea around the corner. And I find that as the releases get more intense towards the end of the year, this record needed that edge to kind of stand out, and it ended up standing out for me and my taste. So that's a high recommendation for me. I think this is just a record that was easy to connect with. It stood out right away when I picked it up, and following the thread through was rewarding in every way. I think it's a little bit of a hidden gem or maybe an underrated record here at the end of the year, and one that had a lot of other records piled on top of it here at the end of November. So very much worth your time checking out this album if any of that is to your taste, and again, a high recommendation for me. It released on November 29th. Check it out yourself, and read my review if you'd like more of my thoughts.
Eternal dusk fades to die.